Sean Lennon. Welcome.
Hey.
Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire aujourd'hui? Est-ce que déjà vous avez l'impression de porter ce que pouvait être les hippies, le monde j'allais dire du hippisme, mais c'est pas ça du tout. Yeah. Est-ce que vous avez l'impression de perpétuer l'histoire de ce mouvement?
What movement?
Hippie.
EP, oh, the EP movement.
Yeah.
You mean because it's kind of an old idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's only an EP because there's not 10 songs on it, you know what I mean? If we have less than 10 songs, then we call it an EP, but do you mean because no one really does EPs anymore? Is that the question?
No, actually the question is, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
The question is, do you feel like you belong to a group of artists?
Oh, hippies.
Yeah.
Oh, hippies.
Do you feel
I
like
thought you said EP, because we just put out an EP, you know what I mean?
Oh no, hippie.
So I thought it was like a question about our new EP.
Do you think that you have this legacy of hippies?
I thought you were like continuing the legacy of EPs, because we did stop making EPs in the 90s, and I was like, well, yeah, we're still making them, which is funny. Okay, well, yeah, it sounds like the same, hippie and EP. Yeah, I mean, continuing the legacy of hippies, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think about it so much. I mean, I think that my taste is maybe some of it is caught in the 60s. Like, I love, Hendrix and the Beatles and Pink Floyd, but I'm not thinking about trying to be a hippie. I do like a lot of the fashion from the 60s too, but I definitely don't really, in my mind, I'm not imagining trying to be a hippie. In a way, I think the hippies kind of, I think the hippies may have failed in doing what they wanted to do, because we got the 80s after the 60s, I mean, the 60s became disco, and then it became the 80s, which was a very superficial time. So in a way, the hippie revolution didn't turn the world into like a beautiful, free-loving place. It kind of failed. So I don't idealize the hippies, let's put it that way. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I'll try to sum it up because your answer was very long. En fait, donc, il n'essaie pas de s'identifier aux hippies, il y pense même pas. Il y a beaucoup de choses des années 60, notamment la mode et la musique, en parlant de Hendrix, des Beatles, qui lui plaisent, mais voilà, il s'imagine pas essayer de ressembler aux hippies. Et pour lui, le mouvement hippie a quelque part échoué, parce que le mouvement de paix, d'amour qu'ils essayaient de répandre, s'est arrêté avec les années 80, qui était une époque assez superficielle.
Alors, Charlotte et vous êtes née à New York, vous parlez français, Sean, vous appréciez la culture de ce pays. Qu'est-ce que ça représente pour vous, la culture française?
French culture? I don't know why, but I've always had an attraction to French culture, and I can't really explain it. I remember when I was very young, I was 7 years old, and they asked me if I wanted to study Latin or French or Spanish, and I chose French like just right away. And I'm not sure why, actually. I think it's possibly because there was a film called Planète Sauvage by René Laloux that I watched a lot when I was maybe 5. And so I think that, and it was in French, so I think maybe that's why I was attracted to French language. But I don't know, so for me, it's a very important part of my life. French cinema, French music, French art and fashion, I mean, it's something that I've always sort of admired and has influenced me, so I can't explain why. Maybe it's because of that early experience, but it's something that's always been with me. So yeah, it's a big part of my artistic influence.
Alors, à propos d'artistes français, vous reprenez... Ah, pardon.
Donc juste pour traduire ce que Charlène vient de nous dire, il ne peut pas expliquer vraiment cette attirance pour la France et pour la culture française. C'est quelque chose qui l'a toujours accompagné. Il se rappelle quand il avait 16 ans, où il avait le choix entre le latin, l'espagnol et le français. Il a choisi le français. Peut-être parce qu'il avait beaucoup aimé un film qui s'appelle Planète Sauvage à l'âge de 5 ans et qu'il l'a regardé énormément. mais la France a toujours été donc a toujours constitué une partie importante de ses influences, que ce soit le cinéma, la mode. Il a toujours admiré, ça l'a servi dans sa carrière artistique.
You're very good. Thank you. You're very fast.
Vous repreniez Gainsbourg sur votre précédent album et vous lui avez rendu hommage lors d'un concert en présence de son fils Lucien en interprétant Bonnie and Clyde et Je t'aime moi non plus. Est-ce que vous imaginez un jour réaliser un album concept comme Melody Nelson?
I mean, actually my favorite Serge Gainsbourg concept album is Loma Tête de Chou.
Yeah.
It's even more like strange, which I like. I like the concept is very surreal. It's like a Dali painting or something. I don't know. That's an interesting question. In a way, I feel like my last solo record was kind of a concept album because it had a story and a film with it. It was called Friendly Fire, and I did like a movie, and it had a sort of plot that was like a love triangle. But maybe it wasn't completely, truly a concept album, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I like, some of my favorite albums are considered concept albums, like Pet Sounds, Loma Tête de Chou. They say Sgt. Pepper is a concept album because there was this imaginary band. So I am attracted to that kind of album, and it's possible that we would do something like that. We have considered doing a musical, for instance, but it would take a long time to write it.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, my answers are too long.
No problem. Donc, on a parlé de Melody Nelson, mais son album préféré, son concept album préféré de Serge Gainsbourg est plutôt L'homme à tête de chou, qu'il trouve plus étrange. Il le préfère, c'est un peu comme les séries de peinture de Dali. Il a l'impression que son dernier album solo, qui s'appelait Friendly Fires, qui avait une histoire, il y avait de la vidéo qui l'accompagnait et qui parlait d'un triangle amoureux, était un concept album. Il exclut pas à l'avenir de faire des concept albums. D'ailleurs, ses albums préférés sont souvent des albums qui ont cette forme-là, notamment Sgt. Pepper's. Et il exclut pas donc à l'avenir de faire des concept albums. Et ils ont même parlé de faire une comédie musicale, mais ça demande énormément de temps.
Sgt. Pepper and Pet Sounds also.
Sounds.
You know, the Beach Boys one, yeah.
Avec Acoustic Session, vous offriez des ballades folk assez enveloppantes. Est-ce que c'était une transition nécessaire entre les comptines de Friendly Fire, dont on parlait, et un disque plus riche en instrumentation comme Midnight Sun?
Yeah, you mean, was it a natural transition to go from acoustic to electric? Yeah, it was. In fact, I think it was hard for us to do acoustic. We didn't really want to do it, but we were writing songs on acoustic guitar, and our manager and some of our friends said, we really like this, so you should do this before you record it with electric instruments. And that was difficult for us because we really wanted to rock, you know. So I actually think it was very easy to go electric because that's what we really wanted to do. It was harder actually to hold back and do the acoustic thing. But we were advised to do that, and we trusted our friends, and in the end we had fun doing it. But it was difficult. It was difficult to be so quiet, you know, and intimate. It was very uncomfortable with just Charlotte and I on stage singing quietly. It's very difficult to do that, actually. So it was easy to let that go.
Ok. Alors, donc, en effet, c'était nécessaire de passer... c'était une transition nécessaire, pardon. Michel nous explique que au début, c'était assez difficile de faire des chansons acoustiques parce qu'ils ne voulaient pas se retenir, ils voulaient faire du rock et faire bouger. Mais ils ont suivi les conseils de leurs amis et de leurs managers qui aimaient beaucoup les versions acoustiques. Finalement, ils se sont assez amusés, ils ont assez apprécié de faire ces chansons acoustiques. Mais c'est assez difficile de rester calme, c'était assez intime, une ambiance assez intime, et ils avaient besoin de laisser exploser ça, notamment avec les guitares électriques du dernier album.
Est-ce que vous pourriez nous aider à décrypter la signification de la pochette Midnight Sun? Vous apparaissez avec la peau verte, un troisième œil. Qu'est-ce que vous tenez dans la main? Quelle est la signification de la pochette?
The Midnight Sun of
oui.
The title?
The front cover of...
the cover. You know, I really don't know. We were just...
Got a third eye.
Yeah. Honestly,
and a green skin?
I think when we do lyrics or drawing, for the images, we don't really think about the meaning so much. We just kind of, I don't know. It is, I don't want to keep going back to surrealism, but it's like a Dali painting. You look at it and you can sort of imagine some meaning, but the meaning isn't that clear, And I don't think it's very clear to us either. We're just compiling images that we like, aliens, insects, pyramids, stuff that we think is interesting, and we try to put them together.
But you don't want to explain, it's just.
But I'm saying I don't think I can explain. I don't really feel like there's any real meaning, It's just a feeling,
Okay.
So I don't want to explain it either, but I don't think I actually could if I had to, because I don't think there's not one meaning, let's put it that way.
Ok.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alors, il n'y a pas d'explication réelle à la pochette de l'album. Ils ont compilé des images qui les inspiraient, qu'ils trouvaient intéressantes. Un peu comme dans les peintures, justement, de Dali, dont on parlait tout à l'heure. Le surréalisme, où il y a plein de petits détails, plein de petites choses, mais il n'y a pas vraiment de sens à ça. Donc, ils ont compilé des images qui les attiraient, comme les aliens, les insectes, les pyramides, etc.
2 dernières questions.
On observe un retour en force du psyché avec des groupes comme Tame Impala, Temple, Swan. Là, à Villette Sonic, il y avait une soirée psyché avec Chocolat, The Black Angels, Morgan Delt. Est-ce que ce sont des choses que vous écoutez actuellement parmi ce qui se fait?
Are there things that I listen to in terms of new bands or just Tame Impala and Black Angels? Sorry, I didn't understand.
Just like there's kind of revival of psyche bands.
Yeah, like Tame Impala. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you listen to these bands or?
Yeah, I love those bands. We got to tour with them too. We just played Austin Psych Fest with Black Angels and Tame Impala and Flaming Lips, and Black Angels are friends of mine, and I'm friends with Tame Impala too. We did a tour with them and the Flaming Lips last year. So yeah, of course I listen to those guys. I think they're really cool, and I think we feel more connected to them musically than we do to Taylor Swift or something.
Ok, thank you. Donc, c'est une musique qu'il écoute, évidemment. Il a même été en tournée, et il va aussi être en tournée avec certains de ces groupes-là. Black Angels sont même des amis donc de Charlotte et Sean. Il les trouve très sympathiques et il se sent plus connecté à leur musique que, par exemple, à la musique actuelle pop de Taylor Swift, évidemment.
Alors, dernière question, le programmateur de Lévitation, qui est le cousin français de l'Austin Psych Fest, dit du psychédélisme qu'il n'est pas un style musical mais un sentiment. Êtes-vous d'accord avec cette vision?
With psychedelic music or what kind of music?
Yeah, there's a festival in France.
Yeah, Lévitation. We played it last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and the man who created, who
Christian, the guy from Black Angels, right?
No, the man who chooses the bands to play in this festival.
Yeah, okay.
He says that psychedelism is not a musical style, but it's a feeling.
Yeah, I understood that. Right. That's
do
what I
you feel
thought.
the same, or?
Yeah. Sure. I feel like the word psychedelic has changed. In the '60s, it meant something really connected with LSD and taking drugs. And I think these days psychedelic music is more, it sort of means indie, experimental. When we played PsychFest Lévitation in France and in Austin, the bands didn't sound like, they didn't all sound like 13th Floor Elevators or something. Some of the bands sounded like punk rock, some of them sounded like heavy metal. I think the thing that connected all the bands was the fact that they were alternative, So in a way, I think psychedelic bands, what they call us as psychedelic bands, is basically the new alternative
music. New indie music.
Yeah, okay. That's what it sounds like to me, but it's a feeling, sure, but this feeling is so different, Like Ty Segal's band Fuzz was like Black Sabbath, And then Flaming Lips are playing like this kind of pop music, and, everyone's different, so I don't think the music is the same. I think it's more like the intention of being an alternative culture is the thing that we share.
Ok. Thank you. Donc pour Sean, le terme psychédélique a changé depuis les années 60, où c'était vraiment lié avec la consommation de drogue, notamment de LSD. Maintenant, donc le terme psychédélique, c'est pas un type de musique. Donc Sean est d'accord avec ce fait que c'est plus un sentiment. C'est l'intention de vouloir appartenir à un mouvement alternatif, indépendant. Les groupes ne font pas tous le même style de musique. Il y en a qui vont être plus vers le métal, d'autres un petit peu plus vers de la pop. Ça va, voilà, il y a pas c'est pas un style universel, c'est vraiment chaque musique différente qui tend vers un style alternatif.
Merci Sean Lennon.